Good morning. As I'm recording this, it is 11:13 Eastern Standard Time on June 21st, 2025, the first day of summer. B-2 bombers are in the air on their way to the Middle East. There will be no whining about war on this channel today. As George Patton once said, against war, all human endeavor pales in insignificance. I am totally patriotic and I want to absolutely obliterate our enemies with 30,000-pound bombs dropped on countries that never attacked us. You can bet I have slept soundly every night this week with no hint of anxiety about a third world war. In fact, I pity people from other countries and wish to liberate them with death. And that is the atmosphere into which you now step as you witness the hottest, freshest, latest Sunday Antisocial here on the Gribblies Folly channel. This is the time each week... Oh no. Oh, where's my pipe? The time each week when I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while answering all of its questions. If you are a piece of humanity with a question for me, an itching, burning, throbbing, swollen question that only I can answer, leave it in the comments down below with the hashtag Ask Gribs. I will answer any question. Through the magic of filmmaking, I have switched pipes actually, and in my Stanwell Admiral Shape 150, well, I always forget. This is what happens. This is what happens when you only get to smoke your pipe once a week. You forget the numbers of your Stanwells, and then everyone makes fun of you. It's an Admiral 115, I think. Does it say on here? 53. That's the shape. That's what I said to begin with, just like I started smoking that other pipe, but now I'm smoking this one magically. That's how that works. Anyway, if I had to flee the country, this would be the one pipe I would take. And in it, I'm smoking Orlik Golden Slice from 2016. 9-year-old Orlik Golden Slice. That is the life of luxury I lead. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to tell me the truth. If I gave up the garage, how bad would that be? It's not, I love the garage. I love making videos in the garage. The problem is, I only have certain windows to make videos, right? And there's people mowing right next to the garage in my one window this week to make a video. I can't do that. Plus there's crickets. Like, do you remember that one video where I had to stop like every 5 seconds because the cricket, you can't edit that out in post, even with my fancy microphone. But I don't want to give the impression that I'm outgrowing my roots. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like go to my auxiliary office and like get all the sound dampening stuff going on and be too hi-fi. On the other hand, now that I'm famous and I've quit my job to just make YouTube videos, I gotta produce, you know? So yeah, how about that whole war? Who could have seen this coming? Who could have imagined that this would happen? One of the reasons that I'm recording at this late date is I wanted to wait as long as I could to comment on whatever the current events are. And yeah, Monday night, you know, Israel had hit Iran. And Monday night we were I was out with some friends and I looked at my phone and you know, people have been noticing like do you know the nerds that watch the flight data all the time? This is what they do for fun. They just watch flight data, says the guy who watches live streams of tornadoes. By the way, my wife got me a tornado mug. Yeah, I can't be calling anybody else a nerd. But the point is, there's people that watch flight data. And so Monday night I was like, you know, looking through Reddit and I saw these cross posts from that community and they were like, there's a lot of interesting planes in the air right now. After about Wednesday, I was able to sort of step back a little bit and turn it off. It seemed like there was going to be a strike, you know, imminently we were going to be striking Iran. Now it seems even more imminent. I don't know how it can still seem imminent after a week, but it does. When the B-2s take off, things have gotten real, right? Like imagine being an Iranian nuclear physicist, or imagine being a secretary for a bunch of Iranian nuclear physicists, and you're just like, you know, you're just sitting there sending emails, responding to stuff, scheduling things for all the scientists or whatever, and then you check your phone and you're like, oh, some B-2s took off. Okay, this will be fine. We'll be fine. Could we stop killing people? Could we all agree killing people is bad and sending them to concentration camps is bad? And let's just start there. Like, as a basis, for commonality. According to sources, Iran is 5 minutes away from making a nuclear bomb. But I've been hearing that since the 90s. You know, like imagine little like 12-year-old Gribs like playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and then like on the freestanding Marconi radio, because it was the 90s and everything was in black and white, Walter Cronkite comes on and he's like, Iran is 5 minutes away from making a nuclear bomb. Like, it's... What? Do you remember when we were all worried about North Korea getting a nuclear bomb? And like now they have nukes and nothing has changed. Like every now and then they load one on a rocket and shoot it into the Sea of Japan, and we just kind of laugh at them. So I knew I would get a lot of comments on my footage from the No Kings rallies here in Asheville. And that's fine. Protests are made to stir things up. So my takeaways from the No Kings protests were, well, number one, it was really hot. The other reason I'm not in the garage right now is because it's about 150 degrees down there. You climate change deniers, you want to fight in the comments? Come at me. Come at me, you chemtrail weirdos. The other takeaway, though, was it was kind of like bittersweet to watch these kids in their 20s protesting everything that's going on, because they have no memory of the lead up to the Iraq War when me and my friends were in our 20s and protesting everything that was going on. Idealism is a noble... I don't know. I don't have any answers. Why do you watch my channel? I never answer anything. So let's get to your questions. Gray Faye 3 says, what do you think of Prince's guitar work? It's amazing. Prince's whole personality overshadowed his guitar playing, which is really something. It's really something. Like, what a personality. Grant Reynard says, Gribby's socks even makes it better. We stick to the slippery slope of logic. Alexander Saya says, Gribby's not as a nickname for me, but a nickname for my subscribers. Then we went on to have some touching moments. I love this man, been following this channel since 2016 and see him as a brother in humanity. I prefer friend of humanity. I don't want to be related to you people. And yet there's a perverse side of me, knowing that if fans had a name like Gribbies, that would drive him batshit crazy. It would. On the other hand, I'm seriously considering selling socks, Grippy socks, with my face on them. At BeatlesU2 says, did you see It Might Get Loud? And follow-up, do you agree that it's very effective propaganda for turning Zeppelin fans and U2 fans into Jack White fans? I did not see it. And I can sum up my avoidance of it. There was I think the Hard Times, or was it Loudwire, at one point published they published an article, and the headline was, we sat down with Jack White for lunch and it was awful. I know the man is a good guitar player. I can't, there's something about him. I feel like watching Jack White talk, it's like if you had Jack Black officiating your funeral. While we're on the subject, Springsteen fans, are you guys going to buy this box set? It's like 12 albums. I think the tracks 2 is 7 albums, and then there's a tracks 3 that's 5 more or something like that. Just a ridiculous amount of material, and it's all like, well, he made this single Streets of Philadelphia for the Streets of Philadelphia movie, but actually he didn't tell anybody he made an entire album in that style. Terminal Element asks Gribbs, how do I get the awesome announcer voice like yours? Does it involve swallowing a beard-trimming garden trowel? No, it's much simpler than that. You need to go to B&B Tobacconist in Asheville, North Carolina, and you need to buy an ounce, just one ounce, of Beck's Old Limey Bastard. It's a very strong English tobacco, and then you gargle it. You don't mix it with water. You just dry, just gargle it. Rafa says, quite agree that speaking one's mind does not equal bringing politics into things. I mean, yeah, yes, but also talking about like the fundamentals of democracy is not inherently political. At least not in the modern sense of the way we use the word political. I guess it is something you would study in Poli-Sci 101. But like, these are just like, it's like talking about like roads and dams and infrastructure. Ask Gribbs, is Sunday the end of the week or the beginning? It's definitely the beginning. As society progresses, changes, I think that we're kind of losing. I mean, I certainly work on weekends all the time, and the idea of the weekend is becoming diluted by economic factors that keep... Can we talk about economics? Is that okay? It's being diluted by chemtrails. that make people work on the weekends and make other people sleep during the week because they're hungover because they're self-employed artists. Nothing matters. There is no meaning. I think that's the point of that. This is a really interesting question. Territory Tom says imperfectitude and imperfectitude is apparently a word that I used. I don't remember using that word. Anyway, someone else commented on it too. Imperfectitude, consistently and universally subjective. Now I can pass. Ellipsis. Cognitive or contemplative therapy. Ellipsis. Is there a point? Ellipsis. Only most subtly. Ellipsis. PCA Metallica. Is that the Presbyterian Church of America? I know Hetfield is anti-religious because of what happened with his mom. But I don't know. I think, Kirk Hammett strikes me as a Protestant. Lars is surely a Methodist, right? Like he's got that Wesleyan temperament. Ooh, here's a good one from the Helene video. Asheville was a hub of darkness and witchcraft. Isn't it interesting how many places with tragedies have witchcraft, Satanism, paganism as a common denominator? Asheville was a hub of darkness? Please, we persist. Also, have you ever heard of the Twin Towers in New York City? That was kind of a big deal a few decades ago. And do you think there was a lot of paganism in the Twin Towers? Like, what about on the Titanic, or like in Galveston during the famous hurricane, in San Francisco during the, well, yeah, okay. Did you know there was an earthquake in Charleston, South Carolina in the I think it was 1888, that like was felt as far away as like Cuba and Boston and like just wrecked the whole city? And that happened, which means it could totally happen again at any point. Is anybody else worried about that? Cascadian Piper asks Gribbs, David Lee Roth and Van Halen, pros and cons. There is no Van Halen without David Lee Roth. I'm sorry. All that other stuff, irrelevant. And I can say that while admitting I like some Van Hagar songs. There's good stuff there. It's not Van Halen. I went to a metal show this week because my friend gave me a free ticket. And the headliner was Rivers of Nihil. And there was also Inter Armis, Holy Fawn, and Glacial Tomb. I didn't get to see Glacial Tomb. I thought, what is up? Okay, all right, hold up. Why can't they just put the start time on the flyer? Why does every metal act, and really a lot of other acts too, like why neither the bands, nor the tour manager, nor the venue wants to tell people when to show up? Not only that, they often don't even want to tell people who they're playing with. Like, I had no idea Glacial Tomb was actually playing in this set until one of the bands later was like, and we're really glad to be touring with Glacial Tomb. And I'm like, who? Just communicate. You are professional artists. You are communicators. Tell me when to show up. Anyway, the point is, I watched metal for several hours, right? But I'm old, so pretty much I just did this. I'm not really headbanging. I didn't get in the mosh pit or whatever. I wake up with terrible whiplash, like the Metallica song. And then I realized that's not whiplash, that's old lash. Like my next show, I'm just gonna have to strap myself to a bodyboard and have someone wheel me in like Hannibal Lecter and put me there in front of the stage. Anyway, it's been like 4 days and I still, like, I can't brush my teeth comfortably. I'm trying to like reach my mouth, but I can't bend my arm all the way. Maybe this is why church wardens are so popular with older pipe smokers, right? As you don't have to reach all out. It's like a remote control pipe. Oh, Gramps went to the metal show. He's smoking his Cobb Warden with his Carter Hall today. Hi-Fi, 1965, asked Gribbs. It seems everything is accelerating. We have the Trump versus Musk bitch off. See, that's old news now. This is why I wait till the last minute to record these anti-socials. I forgot all about that. When can we get back to normal? That's never going to happen. I hate to tell you. It's normal stopped maybe 2014. Think about it like this. Obama was the last normal president. And he was a fluke, right? It should have been Hillary that ran. McCain would have wiped the floor with Hillary. And who was McCain's running mate? Right? So that should have been our entry into crazy land. Vice President Sarah Palin. But it wasn't, because Obama came out of nowhere and won the nomination. So yeah, things have not been normal for a long, long time. We just didn't realize it. Hi-Fi continues, I just feel as if we are being emotionally controlled by the media. Help, please. I am now so famous that I am also the media, so sorry. All right, this is tough. I try to get everyone's name right. It's either Christiane Brown or Christian E. Brown says, my YouTube is now flooded with other people and their own what I learned from Helene prepping videos. Kind of annoying in this age of AI, chat GPT, and mass exposure. The optics implications of people copying each other and acting as if they came up with it all on their own. AI is just really sophisticated plagiarism. The real currency for 95% of the population is no longer money. It's attention. Where you spend your attention is what matters in terms of the people that are controlling things. That they care about that more than your money. You're going to go spend your money on the things you spend your money on, gas and groceries, but your attention is what they can leverage. And this has been true. Like, there's no way to monetize the internet without ads, right? Like, since AOL went down, since people realized that most people they don't want to spend $9.99 a month to have the internet, right? They want it for free, but then you can serve them a million ads. And more insidious than ads, you can serve them propaganda. And that, you know, and I don't think they care what we believe as long as it's malleable. While we're on the subject, I have not independently verified this story from another source, but the Gray Zone reports U.S. Army appoints Palantir Meta OpenAI execs as lieutenant colonels. I really hope this isn't true. 4 senior executives at Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI have been formally appointed lieutenant colonels in the U.S. Army following the creation of a special unit created for rich big tech mavens seeking military leadership roles. This just can't be. Here's a tweet from the Secretary of the Army. It's true. Okay, we're not going to read that anymore. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. Laurie Bledsoe asks Gribbs, which prepper hairstyle is better? Prince Leia space buns or Pippi long-stocking braids? I can hide Kit in my space buns, but I find Pippi hair is better at intimidating rival motorcycle gangs. These are my thoughts. If intimidation is what you're going for, yes, you're right. But also, you're overlooking sewing razor blades into your braids and using them as a weapon. Now, this only applies if you're of a certain age, right? Because I went to a metal show this week and I'm too old to move my head now. Also, I'm bald. But I would imagine that if you are willing to wear razor blades in your braids, you're also willing to sew a wig into your scalp in the apocalypse. So, I mean, I don't see any use for the buns. I think, you know, if you're hiding extra ammo in your buns and someone hits you, that's going to really hurt. And with that, this week's wisdom has been delivered. Thank you so much for watching. I hope no one drops a 30,000-pound bomb on you before next time. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.